Hey Brad Gang, I hope everyone's doing good and keeping safe. In today's video, I want to chat to you guys about Vinco Ventures, so ticker symbols BBIG. So in particular, I'm going to have a look at the price action, have a look at any news, fundamental news that could affect the price, basically whether it be positive or negative, and share my thoughts on where I believe the price is going to go based on price action and all these other news. But before I get into today's video, make sure you guys subscribe and of course hit that notification bell so you don't miss any further uploads. With that being said, let's get this bread. So we start off with having a look at the short flow data on BBIG just to have a look to see if basically if there's a possibility of a short squeeze or anything that could help basically send this price to the moon. So the short flow is sitting at 35%. And that equates to 33.5 million shares that are on loan to short sellers. Now, the fact that the price has been rising, and I'll go into this in the price action, but the fact that the price has been rising is a big possibility that there's already short sellers that are trapped at the moment. So they'll have two choices. So they basically either buy back to cover their position so that they cut their losses short, etc., or they add on to the position and just hope that the selling pressure actually affects the market in the sense that it drives the price further down. So the result of those two options could potentially be very good for buyers. So the result of option one being that, look, short sellers buy back to cover the position. The result of that is that they add demand into the market. By buying back the position, they're adding that demand, which will subsequently raise the share price. And option two, them adding more of that selling pressure, basically shorting more shares, etc., also could potentially be good for buyers because if they're adding to that position, which means that, look, the short flow interest will go up. So if they're wrong on the short, basically adding a position, they'll become more desperate and therefore eventually they'll have to buy back to cover the position. So either way, I believe it could potentially be good if the price continues rising. So as well as the short interest data, one thing I would like to point you guys to on Finviz is having a look at the institutional transaction. So basically institutional transaction is 3 month change in institutional ownership. So in the last 3 months, there's been a positive of 94% transaction, which means that institutions, whether one institution is buying up a lot of shares or multiple institutions are buying up shares, either way, this is creating demand within the market, and therefore this is partially why the price has been rising. Again, I'll go into this a bit more detail in terms of the price action, but this is partially why the price has been rising. So if you now have a look at the chart of BBIG, so in particular having a look at the daily chart, so as you can see, the price is pretty much taken off. All right, from the 20th of August, there's been a very good rally. So it's gone from $2.27 all the way up to pretty much all-time high, where there was a huge bearish rejection, but all-time high of $12. I mean, that's a huge gain right there. The price since then has actually fallen, and you can see pretty much partly the reason why there's a huge short interest is because a lot of short sellers have been jumping on this and basically driving the price down from $12 all the way down to about $5. I mean, the fact that the price got to this level, right, about $12, you can see short sellers even try to jump in on the 30th of August because they believed, you know what, this price has moved way too quickly, way too far, way too quickly. So they're getting excited, they're jumping on this. But of course, the bulls, there was still a lot of demand within the market and they pushed the price even further up. So basically it went from $9 all the way up to $12. So that would have got a lot of short sellers panicking, especially on the 1st of September, this candle would have got a lot of short sellers panicking. But nevertheless, they managed to succeed. The short sellers managed to succeed in pushing down the price. So this pretty much comes down to option two, that I was saying that short sellers, they'll add to the position because, look, they're firm in the belief that the price is going to fall. So they keep adding to the position. So the share price dropped from $12 all the way down to $5. From a price action standpoint, mixed with short flow data, that's pretty much why I believe that the price has just fallen dramatically since like the 8th of September is falling dramatically. And since then, the price has actually recovered. So the price fell down to test the 100 moving average because it actually broke that huge rally that it had starting from effectively on the 20th of August. On the 27th of August, the 100 moving average, the bulls managed to break that average and send the price even further up. So the bears were tempted to, or determined rather, to bring the price down to test that 100 moving average just to see if that's acting as a good support or if it can go back as a dynamic resistance. But the bulls were like, you know what, we're also checking for that level And at that level, it was proven that this was a good support, and not just the 100 moving average, but also if you have a look at the 50 moving average. So the price actually came back down, broke below the 50 moving average, and it was around this area, cradling the 100 moving average. But the price right now has gotten back above the 50 moving average. So you've also got, basically you've got the 100 moving average and you've got the 50 moving average, both acting as good dynamic supports. So I believe that the bears are going to try bring the price back down to test the 50 moving average, just to see if the 50 moving average is actually a good dynamic support. And if failing that, it will head down to the 100 moving average. But I believe the 50 moving average is good enough that it's going to sustain this move, especially seeing as the price is pretty much around a support. So a support of $5.40, roughly $5.40, which was previously a resistance, and this was broken. And also on the technical note, this price action movement actually conforms to a flag pattern, a bull flag pattern. Basically, the flag pole is the huge run up, the rally up, and then the price comes back down to form pretty much the flag. And between the support and the effectively the trend line resistance, which is the flag, between that, the price has come back above that, is broken that trend line resistance, and this creates a lot of, like, potentially a lot of momentum, bullish momentum within the market, and you can see that with the volumes. So if you then have a look at the weekly chart just to see where the price could potentially go for the next couple of weeks leading into months and potentially the end of this year, because I believe that we're on a road, or we could potentially be on the road to $20. So looking at the weekly chart, we'll have a look to see if it's possible that the price could get to $20. So right now on the weekly chart, the price is above the 50 moving average, which means that for the next, basically the 50 moving average is showing that the trend right now is bullish at the moment. And also with the price falling, the price actually came down to coincide with, or to touch, a support, a weekly support of $4.89, roughly around $5. So the $5 mark is pretty much a support on the daily chart, a good support on the daily chart, and the fact that it's a support on the weekly chart, this shows that this is potentially a major support on the daily chart. So guys, keep an eye out for the $5 level. So if we move on from the price action and have a look at some fundamental news that I believe could potentially affect the share price, it's probably already affecting the share price right now, but over the long term, it's more or less going to affect it even more. So the first one was published on the 7th of October. So AdRiser, a leading ad tech company, has agreed to be acquired and will be fully integrated to monetize Lomotive platform. So AdRiser acquired for $108 million last year. Revenues were approximately $37 million. Current run rate of approximately $62+ million. Vinco Ventures and Zash Global Media and Entertainment, through their joint venture ZVV Media Partners, today announced it has signed a binding letter of intent to acquire AdRiser, a leading publisher of analytics solution with a focus on revenue attribution, for $108 million. Basically, a company acquiring another company shows strength, right? It shows that the company that's making the acquisition has a plan, has a strategy, basically to implement that plan, also has potentially has the resources behind it, and also has the vision for taking that company forward. You don't just go ahead and make an acquisition as a company. You don't go ahead and make an acquisition just without having a plan. So this is really good news. The fact that they're doing that, this is actually even better that it's a joint venture. Potentially better that it's a joint venture, depending on if both companies have the same vision. So guys, this is a good fundamental piece of news that could see the price in the long term actually taking off, getting towards $20 and possibly even further afield. Basically 5 to 10 years within this company, I believe I can see a lot of potential. So another piece of fundamental news that I'd like to draw your attention to is that Zash Global Media and Lomotive launched Lomo Records label and artist services. So they wanted to fully integrate and monetize basically Lomotive platform. So they've already monetized it, they're already doing things. So Zash Global Media and Lomotive launched Lomo Records. So guys, they're already making moves. They've already monetized the Lomotive, they're already doing things. So this is a company that, like I said, they made the acquisition and they have the vision and they know what they want to do and they're determined to do what they want to do. But guys, just remember, I'm not a financial advisor. These are just my thoughts and opinions of what I believe the share price is going to do based on the data that I'm seeing, and also basically, yeah, the short interest, all of that data which I've presented to you guys. So these are just my thoughts and opinions. Make sure you guys do your background DD. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure you guys subscribe and of course hit that notification bell so you don't miss any further uploads. And guys, comment below, let me know your thoughts on BBIG. Are you guys currently invested in it? Do you see this potential within the company, Vinco Ventures? Give this video a thumbs up. Let me know this is the kind of content you guys like to see, and I'll be coming out here with regular updates on this road to $20. Thanks guys, I'll see you in the next video.